Hi, wonderful people. It's Mark here from Not Defining. I hope you're doing well. Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about my asexual identities. As you may know, I identify as asexual. And the first thing to say about that is that it doesn't necessarily mean that you don't experience sexual attraction. Asexual is a broad spectrum, just like the bispectrum or the gender diverse spectrum or other spectrums. And there are a few kind of points and terms along that spectrum which I connect with. You don't need to have one term when you are talking about sexuality. And certainly for the ace spectrum, for me, it's very fluid, it's very, new to me, and there are various parts of it which I identify with. So I'm going to go through them and what they mean for me. So the first one is gray sexual. Gray sexual means that you experience sexual attraction, but just to quite a low degree. And I really connect with this because I do experience everything that kind of allosexual people, so people who have a typical range of sexual attraction feel. I experience it all. I don't not feel attracted to people. I don't not feel sexual fantasy or physical pleasure. I don't not experience any of that. I have it all. It's just that it's really on a lower level than what I see most people my age or most people have. And that's it's kind of good and bad in a way. Like, it's bad because I don't really connect with people who are really kind of mad about sex. They think it's like the best thing in the world, and there's a lot of culture and expectation around that, especially with men. You've got to always be looking for sex, and if you have sex, then it's like this amazing thing, and it's like the ultimate goal. I just don't. I could take it or leave it. It's nice when it happens. It's really, really nice when it happens. But I don't crave it. I don't go out like a kind of rabid animal needing to have sex. The other part of the spectrum that I associate with is demisexual. And demisexual refers to somebody who can experience sexual attraction, but only really when there's a close bond formed. And I relate to this a lot because, like I said, I really, really like sexual experiences. And I've been lucky enough to have amazing experiences, amazing physical intimacy in my life. Fabulous, and lots of it, and it's great. But for me, it's really about the whole situation. So I like the connection with the person. I like the emotional connection and the physical connection. I like the whole deal. I don't really understand when people have like one night stands. I don't really understand when people want to do that. I don't really understand when people have sex when they don't know the person. And anytime I have engaged in something like that, it's been from a place of trauma, and there's been a lot going on for me there. So demisexual is another term that I really find connects with me. The other term, and this is an interesting one, is that there's a term called Freysexual, and it's almost like the opposite of demisexual. And funnily enough, I relate with that as well. So Freysexual is somebody who can be attracted to somebody, and then when that intimacy is developing, they will pull away because they will lose the attraction for that person. And I've experienced this so much. I can be attracted to the person, and I realize it's kind of like I can be attracted to the idea of the person, right? My kind of conception of them. But then when it actually comes to getting with that person, or, forming a relationship or getting to know that person for real, I can often just completely lose it. I don't know why that happens with me, but it does. I think it's because I build myself up to having this attraction. I obsess about it, and I imagine them in a certain way in my mind that kind of allows me to feel the attraction, but then the reality of it kind of sets me off and throws me off. So I kind of lose it, and then I panic and obsess about, oh gosh, I've lost it, all of this. The other one that I connect with, and just before I explain this, if you are on the asexual spectrum, or if anything that I'm talking about connects with you, then come and speak to us, write in the comments. I will always try and answer your questions. The next one is Aceflux, and this basically means somebody who jumps between all of these different categories. So clearly, as you can see, I jump between all of these things, and they're not always the same. So they're kind of fluid. And in the same way as I'm bisexual and fluid, which means that the genders I can be attracted to kind of change and flip and merge. So it's exactly the same with my asexuality. So sometimes I will feel more sexual attraction, sometimes I won't. Sometimes it will be like 0. And then sometimes it will be kind of demi. Yeah, sometimes it will be very Freysexual. I have this very Freysexual kind of energy, and so on. So Aceflux really represents that state of flux, that state of flexibility, which I exist in. And the final one is Demisexual. Now, Demisexual is a really kind of interesting one that I'm working through at the moment. It refers to somebody who has kind of become asexual throughout their life as a result of usually a kind of traumatic experience or something that has changed them. Now, it's a little bit controversial because there are people who say, oh, asexuality is like trauma, it's a disorder. That is not the case. But for me, I connect with Demisexual for 2 reasons. The first is because being a fluid queer person who doesn't fit into any box, I've had so much trauma around my sexuality. I have obsessed so much about my sexuality that I actually get to the point where I don't even know what sexuality is anymore. I don't know. I don't know how to connect with somebody. I don't know how to feel attraction. It's just so complicated for me that it just exhausts me. The fluidity and the questioning and the repression and the anxiety and all of it just comes together to where I'm just like, I'm not interested. I can't get to a place where I can feel like into having sex or, relationships and stuff. So that's one thing that is very, very real for me. It kind of gets so overwhelming that it just kind of turns off. And then the second thing is that I experienced depression, PTSD, anxiety, and OCD, as I said. And I took some medication. And one of the side effects of the medication is actually it affects your sexual function. And I didn't know this at the time, but apparently it can have long-term effects. And so even though I've come off that medication now, it's really affected me. And it's really just decreased my sexual interest from what was already a fairly low, gray sexual bar to now kind of really almost nothing. I was very upset and once again traumatized by that situation. But that is why I connect with Demisexual, because it's happened to me. I wasn't kind of just born this way. It's developed, and it's been due to a number of complex things. So with all of these, there is no right or wrong way to be demisexual, gray sexual, freysexual, any of these. They're not specific concepts that you can prove. There's no membership card for being Aceflux or Demisexual. They're just terms that kind of help us to communicate generally where we are on a spectrum. And so my experience of them, my experience of asexuality will be different to other people, but I just wanted to make this video to express how it is for me, and I would love to hear how it is for you. And if you have any more questions, I would be most happy to explain. So please subscribe if you like this content, share it with someone who you think might benefit from it. And if you would like to know more about how bisexuality and asexuality intersect, then check out this video. And if you would like to hear a bit more about my asexual identity in more detail, then check out this video. Thank you so much. I love you, and I will speak to you again soon. Bye for now.